We have a friend of the program, Kamran Bakhtiari, and we're very, very excited to have him here with us. He's a leading industry expert with full responsibility from lead acquisition through revenue recognition. He's serving in senior leadership roles at Loan Depot, PennyMac, Varengo Solar, Mission Loans, and he's been a trusted advisor for many more companies. Also, he's been teaching for over 10 years with the Decision Sciences program at Pepperdine. In their MBA program, and I've learned this firsthand. He not only has a passion for data analytics, but he has a passion for sharing and teaching about that. So we're excited to have you here. Thank you, Kamran.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we've learned a lot working with Kamran on projects over the years. He just has a great ability to kind of always push, the envelope to find out the truth, what's going on, and what adjustments do we make to optimize things, and I've always loved that about Cam.
So Cam is now the CEO and co-founder of LeadsOptics, and he is. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're doing currently and how you got there?
Sure. First off, thanks for having me. It's a great way to start 2025 with some of the folks that I like the most in the industry, and to follow Steve and follow Justin. This is a great honor to be up here. So LeadsOptics was formed to help lead buy. So I've always been a lead buyer. I've spent time at Loan Depot, I've spent time at PennyMac, I spent time at different brands helping them on the lead buying side. And what I've seen is there's a lot of different pain points that you want to solve for. Some of the things that Justin spoke about, some things that Steve has spoken about, and a lot of things that Squeeze really helps clients with as well. And so on the flip side, we've developed technology that can assist with those things. So the first part is lead scoring. We see at best, depending on the industry that you're in, for every 100 leads that you buy, maybe 5 will turn to revenue. Maybe 5. Depending on the industry, whether you're in solar, whether you're in mortgage, whether you're in financial services, that percentage may change, but typically, best case scenario is 5. So that's, you spent money on 95 leads, and it's not just the money that you spent. It's all of the operational waste that comes with it, calling those leads, texting those leads, spending time pulling credit on those leads. And so our goal is to try to flip that equation, be able to arm our clients with a lead score so they know where to prioritize their time and their resources. And the second technology that we have is the AI technology for call center. I believe Squeeze has a similar technology, but we see that most folks know who their best agents are. They know who's converting high, who's converting low, but what they don't know is what is it Johnny's doing right, what is it David's doing wrong on the phones. And so when you ask the question of how many of your calls do you actually QA, how many of your calls do you actually listen to on a monthly basis, best case scenario that we've ever heard is 1 per agent per week. That's the best case scenario. Usually the answer is 1 per month, per agent, or seldomly. If we get a lawsuit, then we go pull that call and listen to it. And so with the power of AI, you can listen to every single call, every second, every single word, and know exactly what's being done on every single call. And that plays into not only conversion, it plays into NPS. We have clients in the tourism industry reaching out to us. So 5-star resorts are reaching out to us. They want to use our AI technology to understand, hey, if someone was flying into Los Angeles, was concierge service offered them to pick them up from the airport and arrange transportation to bring them to the resort? Cross-selling golf, cross-selling health. So AI is huge now, and so those are 2 areas that we kind of focused in on.
Yeah, that's something that we found. Carson mentioned Peel Voice a little bit earlier, and insights into what is happening with the sales team, because as we mentioned earlier with Steve, that branding now is all the more important through the whole sales funnel, because you're in theory getting a one-to-one experience with this consumer from the opt-in to the transaction, hopefully. And so ensuring that at each step of that funnel, your agents, your salespeople are representing your brand in the way that enhances the brand and doesn't create friction is going to become even more important, because that is how you will now capture market share. That's the opportunity that's the competitive advantage that you can really gain as opposed to just bidding.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
I can't control myself. I've been wanting to ask this question the whole time.
knowing you, and it goes with what Jacob just talked about, right? Knowing the whole funnel all the way across. Just knowing as much as you have, seeing as much as you had, where is the most common breakage in that sales funnel? Like genuinely, where does it break down more often than not within that sales process?
Yeah.
What do you see?
That's a good question. I'm going to back up just a second on the front of personalization, on the front of building reputation with our clients. Most of us, we're direct to consumer, right? We're not brick and mortar. Most of the folks that are attending the show, most of the audience that's going to be listening to this podcast, we're direct to consumer. So finding a way in a digital world to build rapport, when you're sitting thousands of miles away from that customer, finding ways, whether it's with your AI technology or it's through your agent's etiquette. One reason why we decided to partner with Squeeze for many of our clients is because of that. Like the way that you guys are able to treat clients with that white glove is so important. Saving $20 per hour to do offshore call center doesn't work. Being able to have that white glove treatment is so important. And then Nate, getting to your question, where is the breakage in sales, in that sales funnel? You know, quite frankly, when we go into clients, what we do, our focus is with data first. And so we bring all the data in, and we are so shocked at where we see breakage. You know, I want to give you a good answer, but I'm going to start with the bad answer first. We go to clients, we bring in all the data from Active Prospect. Active Prospect spins off thousands and thousands of breadcrumbs, data elements on every single lead that comes in. Every step in that flow is 10, 15, 20 columns of data. And then we bring in all the call center data, your guys' data, all the way down to CRM. Quite frankly, every single client we've walked into, we have found some low-hanging fruit. We have seen that there's upwards of $50,000 worth of leads that don't even post to the system to be called, and they pay for those leads.
Word, that's fun.
Yeah, so bigger clients, obviously $50,000 a month. Smaller clients, every client we've walked in, we've seen that. That's low-hanging fruit. You think no one's doing that. That's impossible, but we have seen that with every single client. The second thing that you would think doesn't happen, it happens with every single client we've seen, is missed calls. Especially for clients that have an inbound practice with direct mail, we see about 30% of the calls are missed. Calls, just basic stuff, you know, calls coming outside of hours, obviously no fault of anything you're doing. Using the AI tool that you guys have to schedule calls, to turn that call that comes outside of hours, turn it into a scheduled callback, that's brilliant. But then we also see during operating hours, there's calls missed. So that's basic blocking and tackling. We typically, a lot of our clients aim to build this, very sophisticated direct-to-consumer practice, but we often see that there's cracks in the foundation, and these are some examples of that. And the only way that you could really see this is bring a lot of that data into a data warehouse and analyze, and we'll probably talk about that here. To answer your question specifically, once you've done all that, the breakage that we typically see is it's feast or famine. So in a sales environment, if you're buying a ton of leads, we see that there isn't great follow-up with sales folks. A lot of what we do is we're not selling sunglasses, we're not selling a $100 widget. A lot of what we're doing in this room, or the folks of that are listening to this podcast, we're selling stuff that is super expensive, it's a longer sales cycle, a lot of it may not be a one-call close, some of the stuff may be 2, 3, 4 call close. And so if marketing is bringing a lot of leads, what we see that the follow-up isn't that great. So having very good follow-up practices, and that follow-up is in multiple parts of the funnel. If you're buying a lead, obviously Squeeze does its best. They have a proven process that gets that lead onto a phone. And then once you get that opportunity to a salesperson, they also need technology, processes, strategies, just operational discipline to make sure that they're following up with their opportunities.
I was going to just add to that. Like, we just recently had a case where we're talking with a prospective large bank credit union, and we're onboarding them and talking with them, and come to find out they have millions of members in their bank, in their portfolio, and depositors and things like that. They get 16,000 organic. They're not even in the lead space. They're a business that deals with a lot of customers and data, but they have 16,000 organic inquiries a month through their website and through their app. They have an app, mobile app, and a website where someone says, I want to speak with a loan officer. And that lead goes to one of their branches and nobody calls it. Or they call it once and the person doesn't answer and they don't follow up. So, this problem is like, evident even in our lead industry with people that deal with this specifically, but also businesses that are sort of outside of our lead industry that deal with leads constantly. So,
yeah, we have another case study. We're working with a current kitchen remodel company. They've got 1,000+ stores that customers will go into and they'll get a quote. And they were generating these leads and sending them to the individual stores, and each of the store managers had their own process and way of doing things. Some of them were just dialing them on their cell phones, and our conversion rate out the gate, like week one, was higher than their contact rate was before. So lead to sales opportunity was higher than the number of leads that they were just contacting. And yeah, having that sales process that's really strong and consistent and something that can be replicated is super important. Another thing that I've seen, like in this last year, for me, a highlight of 2024 was helping enable sales teams and give them feedback that will help them be able to take warm transfers and turn them into sales. That's a real skill. It's much different than taking an inbound call. So if you're taking a warm transfer and you handle that call and you say, hey, how can I help you today? Well, you called me, right? You tell me, how can you help me? Or why do you want to refinance today? Or why do you want, like, that's not how you handle a call. So we've built into our AI tool the ability to take that third-party talk time and run an AI analysis on it and provide best recommendations to the partner, because there's this friction between marketing and sales oftentimes at these organizations, right? Marketing is generating leads and they want to generate high-quality leads, but if sales isn't closing those leads, who's the first person that they blame? Marketing, right? If sales isn't closing leads, the marketing team is going to say, hey, sales, you need to do better. And we're able to take this quantitative data and now this qualitative data, these conversations and this customer sentiment, and make it a data point that we can now say, hey, this is actually what's happening. And on this percentage of the calls, this is what's happening. And send us your sales scripts. This is the script adherence and the process adherence. And that's been really, really helpful for both the marketing and sales teams, because there's a third party in the room that can kind of mediate and say, hey, like let's come to the table. Our goal is to close more deals, so let's figure out how to do this. And that's something that I think is going to become more and more important in 2025. Everything that happens once you have that lead, because these leads are more expensive, those conversion rates, and once again, that brand experience is going to be even more important.
Yeah, AI is a great marriage counselor between sales and marketing. It can listen in, know if sales is doing the right thing to convert that call, or it can also tell you that a lot of people are calling in off of this specific lead source. They thought they're calling for a home loan, but they're actually calling for a car loan, or they were promised a 0.99% rate, or they were promised free solar, or whatever it may be. So this AI can listen in and really play that mediator role between sales and marketing and tell you, is it a lead quality issue or is it a sales issue? So it's a very powerful tool to be using.
Yeah, it takes the ego out, right? It's just data, and that data should be driving all of your decisions that you're making.
Well, Cam, we kind of have a similar question for you that we had for the last two gentlemen. You look back on 2025, or look forward to get a crystal ball out. I don't know how you want to do it, but what do you see coming up? What do people need to do to adjust, or how do they prepare for 2025?
Yeah, I guess we've heard so much just on the stage. We've heard it so much in the past year. If I got $1 for every single time I heard one-on-one consent, I may not be up on the stage. I may be at the blackjack tables outside those doors. I think Steve mentioned it really well. I think we all have to be ready for change. It's disruptive change. Most organizations struggle with change, especially the larger the organization. Change can be uncomfortable at times, but if we can learn and see the benefit in some of these changes that are coming, I think it's going to be transformational. It's good for the customer experience. It's good for brands if they find the positive in it and understand how to adapt to the changes that are coming. I truly believe it's an opportunity, but that means your strategies also need to be prepared for it. It's inevitable. Lead costs will go up. It's inevitable, right? And so that means there's only two ways you're going to make up for it. From all the research I've done, from all the talking to different folks in the industry, I've heard that lead costs will go up anywhere from 30% onwards, right, upwards. And so that means you have to be able to convert, all things equal, 30% or greater. Are you ready for that? I think we'll get some gains just because of the one-to-one consent. If the consumer only chooses for that lead to be sold one time, well then naturally we will see, if we change nothing in our operations, we will see a lift in conversion. But how else do you plan to make up that 30%? A direct-to-consumer process is not a single-cylinder engine; it's an 8-cylinder engine, right? From getting that lead, how quickly are you calling it, how fast are you calling it, how many times you're calling it. There's a lot of connective tissue from top funnel all the way to your sales, all the way depending on different industries you were in, all the follow-up, all your sales strategies, etc. And so it's important that all cylinders are firing, especially when that lead cost is going to go up. And so companies that are prepared for these changes, they're the ones that are going to succeed, and they're going to see the positive in the one-to-one consent. Companies who are just, unfortunately, I see a lot of people hitting that snooze button. They feel like, hey, you know, the battles are happening in the court. We don't need to worry about it, even though it's about 2-3 weeks away. I can continue hitting the snooze button. We saw that a lot in Q4. We saw that a lot in Q3, but you know, that's 2 weeks away. I don't know if hitting the snooze button is a great strategy any longer.
Yeah.
And so hopefully most companies are prepared for these changes.
Sure. Well, Cam, stay up here. We left maybe 3 to 5 minutes for any questions that might be out there. So you guys look pretty shy.
Steve and Justin are going to join us back up here. We have our mics, so we're going to hand the mics off to whoever has a question. We can get a mic out into the audience. Oh, Michael's got a mic there. So,
are there questions out there, or are you guys too shy to ask such a prestigious panel anything? I could understand that intimidation. Any questions out there? All right, guys. That was weak.
You guys are so thorough.
Content was great.
Oh, you know, honestly, this conversation's been great, and I love how we sort of take it through the progress of the funnel and everything. And you guys have been terrific guests here, and I want to give it up for these guys one more time. Thanks so much.
Yeah. So I think we give maybe our 3 final thoughts. And while we still have these 3 guys up here with us, I had this it's not that big of a realization, honestly, but my realization was this. Experience matters, and expertise matters. We had the best panel guests, for sure. And I don't want to brag, but I'm going to brag. These guys are the best. They know the industry, they've been around, they're smart, they're capable, and it showed, because the content was actually valuable. They said things that are real, they said things that are valuable, they said things that are truthful. So my biggest takeaway from this whole thing was expertise matters. You get experts, you get guys like that in the room, and your business will be better. You'll make better decisions, the consumer experience will be better, everything will be better. Expertise matters.
Yeah, and I'll just say, embrace change. Be ready for it. Money finds a way, and I think that constraints breed creativity. So I'm excited to see how we all learn to deal with the unique circumstances that are coming. But yeah, be confident in your brand and make sure that you have a strategy to embrace these changes.
You know, we're an entrepreneurial industry, and you know, challenges have come up before in the past, and we always overcome them. And I think going back to the points that these guys already made, you know, you get the right people in the room, and you make sure you plan for it and you execute. And that's the big thing that we've always done at Squeeze too, is like if we have a challenge or problem, something comes up, you got to pivot. You can't put your head in the sand, like you said. And anyway, that's my thoughts, and thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here, and let's have a great rest of the show.
Yeah, thank you.